I get nervous when I see women around Daemon in places where death can occur. Hey guys, it's your girl Aisha, aka Geek XX Chic, and we are back with another reaction to Hot D, otherwise known as House of the Dragon. And we are now into episode 6, which is called The Princess and the Queen. So the last episode had some craziness go down in the last 20 minutes. We see that Rhaenyra is now a married woman, but not necessarily because she wants to be. Her father decided it was the best thing for her to beat this scandal that was created by her and Daemon acting a fool in them city streets. And we see that at the wedding feast, a lot of crazy stuff went down, namely that Sir Laenor's lover got a little too loose-lipped and started talking to Rhaenyra's little boo thing, Sir Criston, and Criston was very emo and very gullible, and he clearly has a very big ego. He didn't take well to it, and he responded by bludgeoning this man to death in the middle of the feast. And obviously, not a good look overall, but in light of all this mess happening, I think that Viserys thought the best way to curb any more further issues was to marry them that very night and not to wait for any more hijinks to ensue. And this is especially the case because even just before that, we saw that Daemon was trying some mess right there in the feast. Rhaenyra was challenging him to act on his feelings if they were real. And Daemon, being the immature person that he is, was about to do something dumb. But who knows? Was it the gods or was it just fate that intervened and stopped it from happening in that moment? So yes, poor Viserys is just like, I just want one decision I've made to go properly. I just need something that I've planned to go right. So this wedding was set in motion, but we see that they barely finished saying their vows and Viserys collapsed. We've seen that his health has been very steadily declining since episode 1, and it looks like it's gotten quite bad. I don't think he's gonna die tomorrow, but it's definitely, the days are numbered. So if he is in this episode, I feel like it's going to be towards his last days. And I did hear that last episode was the last episode for the actresses that play Rhaenyra and Alicent to be in the show. So I guess we are doing another time jump. So I'm excited to see where we're going to land at this point, where the relationships are, if Daemon is still being crazy, and if Rhaenyra actually is going to end up being queen. So we're going to jump into the episode. But before I do, if this is your first time to my channel, welcome. Thank you so much for coming. I do reactions here to shows like this. So if you are interested in watching me do that, please consider hitting that subscribe button as well as the notification bell. And if you like this video, I'd appreciate it so much if you set some love to that like button, put some comments below. It just helps a girl out to be seen and recognized and all that good stuff. I appreciate it so, so much. And for those of you who've been here before, welcome back. Thank you so much for coming back. Please join the fam if you haven't already. We're on a march to 10K and we'd love to have you there. All right, that out of the way, let's get into the episode right about now. I don't know if I like the sound of this so early. Okay, maybe it's labor. Never mind. I was like, it's either labor or the other thing. Hot D, you just never know which one it's going to be. Oh, the sound effects. I mean, I know it's the way it sounds. It's just not appealing to the ear.
Praise Mother.
Where's the cry? Okay. You smacked the royal baby. Off with her head. That baby doesn't have an afro. We have a problem.
The Queen has requested that the child be brought to her immediately.
No. Rhaenyra's like, I'm gonna bring it myself.
I'll take him myself.
That's right. Alicent got a nerve. She wants to see if the baby looks like Daemon or if it looks like her daddy. It's reminding all of y'all what women have to go through sometimes, okay? This woman literally just had a major life-threatening event happen and she got to carry herself across this cold-ass castle. Okay. Baby ain't even been cleaned up yet. Placenta all hanging out.
The afterbirth.
There it is. But here, you know what? If I were Rhaenyra, if that's the way the queen gonna be, I would come in my bloody dress the same way.
Yes.
Well done. Where are you going?
Yeah, like, why are you out of bed?
Walk. Walk.
Just carry her.
Sir Laenor, it is a privilege to be amongst the first to congratulate you.
Hey, don't breathe this close to my baby. Oh my God, how far away is the queen's chamber? Carry her, please.
This is absurd.
It is. But so's Alicent. Like, I understand she's got her reasons and she pissed, but she could have given the girl a day. Anyway, karma's a bitch, Alicent.
Rhaenyra,
Yeah, stronger than
Be
you.
resting after your labor.
Oh, shouldn't she?
Tell you fetch a cushion for the princess.
No, let's make this
There's
quick.
no need.
Nonsense.
Make this quick.
What happy news this morning.
Indeed, Your Grace.
You're not dead yet?
Where is he?
Oh God, he's lost his whole arm.
Does the babe have a name yet?
Joffrey.
He's minutes old! What you looking for?
Do hope the labor was easy.
I
Is
think
labor
I called
ever?
the midwife a cunt.
The way he's just like, that's my girl.
Do keep trying, Selena. Sooner or later, you may get one who looks like you.
You think you're so smart, Alicent? Your time's coming, girl. Your time's coming.
He's our child, is he not?
Only one of us is bleeding.
Ooh.
Don't seem so interested in our affairs, Lily.
I knew she'd have a trail of blood. I knew it. See, this is just the lack of humanity towards women and what we go through sometimes is absolutely staggering.
Another boy, I heard.
Lucky.
So Harwin wishes to be introduced to Joffrey.
Of course.
It's true. None of those kids have a lick of melanin in them. And I mean, I know that Laena got a white mama, but what's that look for?
A certain insolence runs in the family, I'm afraid.
So it's his baby. I mean, Laenor doesn't really work like that. I thought that they would at least try to have one child together. But I mean, if you really, some guys in that situation just aren't able to perform the task, as it were.
Cover max to heal precious Ares.
The hiring.
You know, I'd be really scared if I were these kids too. All these dragon tamers all scarred up, man. I'd be like, I'm kind of pretty, so I don't know if I want to do all this.
Hold mastery over your dragon,
I
like
Darla Rota got Vespers on me.
as Prince Aegon has with Sunfire.
Can I say it?
He's like, pay attention, please. Why does this kid look so angry?
You're the only one of us without a dragon.
Indeed.
And we felt badly about it.
Why are we teasing Aemon? Wow, you're all just jerks. Why am I not surprised that Aegon's an ass? It's all right. A pig is a noble steed. So why doesn't he have a dragon? Curiouser and curiouser. This doesn't look like it's gonna end well. What you doing in my house, boy? I'm gonna Jakarish your little face off. You lucky that dragon just gave you a warning. Next time, your eyebrows.
They said they found a dragon for me,
The last ring has no legs at all.
but it was a pig.
She's a bit creepy.
Have a dragon one day.
He'll have to close an eye.
I know it.
The way she's like, anyways.
Your grandsons are a menace.
There are more children than he is.
They're savages.
Excuse me, his brother was in on it.
To have one child like that is a mistake. To have three is an insult.
I had a black mare once,
He's like, story time.
and the foal, when it was born, chestnut. Just the most unremarkable brown horse you ever saw.
That's right, you tell her about genetics. It sucks because Alicent isn't lying, but it's the mean spirit it's coming from.
Do not speak of this again.
Not while I draw breath, girl. How would you like it if someone was coming for your child, your daughter like that, Alicent?
Do my senses lead me astray, or is everyone else
Not
asleep?
these two being teamed up.
The Princess Rhaenyra is brazen and relentless. A spider who stings and sucks her prey dry.
Oh, screw you, Kristen. All the way to hell. Honestly, you're such a little hurt feelings. She didn't pick me. Do I need to know what's I don't need to know what's happening here. Why am I not surprised this is Alicent's child?
Whose idea is it?
That is not the ultimate. ultimate buzzkill. It was, and you know him.
And it was the two of them. I couldn't be sure.
He's like, I have no blood in my brain right now. Why are you talking to me, woman?
You are nearly a man grown. How is it that you can be so short-sighted?
Listen to you. Turned completely into her father, Otto.
She can move to cut off any challenge to her succession.
Then I won't.
You are the challenge! You are the challenge, Aegon! Simply by living and breathing!
Okay, girl, breathe.
In their blood and in their bones is that one day you will be our king.
Does he look like he wants to be king? Homie can't even figure out where he's supposed to be getting himself off. See, even when you're a prince, guys, locks on doors, because you just never know who might be wandering in. Who's riding? Oh, there he is. Doing a little chasing. Oh, she left you a present. So is this kind of like what happens with Dragon Rider foreplay? Is that what we're doing here? Let's come back singed. It's so hot. Literally.
Your aim is to marry one of our daughters, Your Excellence. You might have said so and spared us the history lesson.
What?
I would not count myself so deserving, my Lady Laena. I wish to offer you. The tenants would pay their tributes annually to their new Targaryen lord. You would have your freedom of the city and the harbor.
Interesting.
My aim is to protect Pentos from the lustful eye of the Triarchy. Aid Pentos in this, as Aegon once did.
I mean, we were already in a 3-year war. Why would we go into another one?
It's a most generous offer. And one we will certainly entertain.
Okie doke. She is not about it. But Daemon is ever ambitious. All right, Daemon as a dad's kind of cute so far. Doesn't mean I like him.
We are more than this, Damon. We are not minstrels or mummers who play at the pleasure of an alien prince. We are the blood of old Valyria. We don't belong here.
Valyria is gone. We don't belong anywhere.
Facts.
And at my end, I want to die a dragon rider's death. Not that of some fat country lord.
He's like, oh, you're still here? What an interesting conundrum. I understand where Daemon's coming from. It's interesting that he's kind of just retired away to overseas rather than kind of dealing with his local problems.
Lads have learned together, trained together, knock each other down, pick each other up.
Not quite.
Let's see if you can touch me. You and your brother.
All right, I guess. Kristen trying to vie for this guy's stepdaddy now, huh? Since he couldn't have Rhaenyra, hoping that the queen gonna take you in after his majesty kicks the bucket.
Seems the younger boys could do better with a bit of your attention, Sir Kristen.
Period.
Question my method of instruction, sir.
Yes, favorites that you're playing, clearly.
It's hardly a fair match. I know you've never seen true battle style, but when steel is drawn, a fair match isn't something anyone should expect.
Okay, yes. You're just gonna humiliate the children for your pride now? Oh my god. Cole turned out to be such a disappointment. I'm so sorry I ever thought you were cute. Rhaenyra's child. That is Rhaenyra's child.
I'll deal with him.
A little too friendly there, sir. You're giving yourself away.
This is what you teach, Cole. Cruelty.
Exactly.
Your interest in the Princeling's training is quite unusual, Commander.
No more than yours.
Or a brother.
Say it.
Or a son.
Thank you. Someone needs to punch that mouth for a while now. You like preying on the weak, sir? Now you get a nice taste of what that feels like. Her secret door's still there.
To accusations of an uglier treachery.
And what's treachery is that don't play the fool with me, boy.
He's like, I know what my grandsons look like.
People have eyes, boy. Yeah. Yet his grace the king, it seems, will not accept what his eyes say.
I mean, let's be real. I mean, both Rhaenyra and Laenor have the silver hair of the dragon. Not one of the kids has one white strand.
You publicly assaulted a knight of the king's heart in the defense of your...
Your what? Finish the sentence. Is this for her chest? Yeah. Who the hell is singing horribly?
Milk. Swells the breast.
Would you mind, Sir Carl? I would like to speak with my husband.
What I just explained.
Carl's been fighting there. He showed me.
Poor guy.
Just what I need. A little adventure.
Oh dear.
Good honest battle to enliven my
He
blood
tells
again.
me he's not going to come back from that.
To be back at sea.
Oh, that's right. I forgot he's a water boy.
Questions about our son's parentage. Vile, disgusting insinuations.
But true.
And their true father will not abandon them now to go carousing through the narrow sea, waggling his sword and winking at his sailors.
I am a knight.
Drunk, the rarest of wines, fuck the lustiest boys. This was our agreement. I have not begrudged you.
This is true.
You do not desert your post when the storm lashes.
This is true. This is exactly why you need to be here.
Very well, then I command you. As your princess and the heir to the throne, you are commanded to remain in King's Landing and at my side.
Damn. Had to come to that, huh? It's such a terrible situation because clearly Laenor is not happy either, but it's so true though. Like, dude, your whole purpose in this whole situation is that, you know, Rhaenyra's your beard and you pretend to be the father of these kids. You gotta be the person to, like, stand up for your wife.
He wants you and father. And Baylor. Because you have dragons.
I was without one until I was 15 years old. And now I ride a Vhagar, the largest in the world.
Aww.
But if you wish to be a rider, you must claim that right.
That's right. Work, girl.
Father ignores me.
Daemon's kind of a dick. You're gonna learn that the hard way. I get nervous when I see women around Daemon in places where death could occur. I mean, I know he doesn't actually hate this wife, but...
Rhaenyra has delivered another son.
Yay!
Does your brother mention if this one also bears a marked but entirely coincidental resemblance to the commander of the City Watch?
Do you never long for home?
No.
Lies.
I don't believe you.
Didn't know I was being so minutely observed.
You do not sleep.
What are you gonna do? She's pregnant!
Perhaps I too am not the wife you would have wished for yourself.
Laena.
It does not pain me. I have made my peace. But you are more than this, Daemon.
A wife that actually loves you, Daemon. Actually cares for you. I do wonder, though. She's saying she wants to go back, but if he goes back, he's going to be like a mouth to a flame to Rhaenyra. And I don't think she's ready for all that.
This dispute bears looking into. There will be country folk who know where the lines have been drawn for generations.
That is easy enough.
Why are you here?
The Blackwoods have the upper hand.
No.
We've moved on to the Stepstones, Lord Beesbury.
And the Triarchy's new alliance with Dawn.
Jeez. Sir, I think you should retire.
That was a decade ago, and he has since left the region undefended.
Oh, we have left it undefended. There should have been fortifications built.
Yep.
Watchtowers, a fleet of ships.
Yep.
A garrison of soldiers sent to hold our ground.
Speak on it.
But we have been lax, and the old monster now lifts its head.
Facts!
Let us be finished.
Yeah, go away. But that's really nice, Alicent. She brings out valid points and you walk away.
And for any offense given by mine, I apologize.
That's right. I would look like the bigger person here.
But we are one house. Long before that, we were friends.
Or did you forget?
My son, Jacaerys, will inherit the Iron Throne after me. I propose we betroth him to your daughter, Helena. Let them rule together.
A most judicious proposition.
He's like, that's my girl! You say no to this, you're gonna look like a hag.
If Cyrax brings forth another clutch of eggs, your son, Aemond, will have his choice of them. A symbol of our goodwill.
It's a sweet deal. It's so sweet. Yeah, she's nursing.
Oh, seven hells.
You must rest now, husband.
Yes. Are you not the king? Oh my God. Okay. Don't even get me started on the fact that they're trying to shame this woman for a natural bodily occurrence like her leaking.
We're a family. Let us put aside these childish quarrels. Join hands and be stronger for it.
Do you need to have this conversation out here?
When I am cold in my grave.
Alicent.
That could be sooner than later if you keep pushing me, bitch. Rhaenyra, you could just make sure Alicent has an accident. Just a little one. Just a little topple over one of them balconies, you know?
I have come to resign my position as Hand of the King.
You have served me faithfully for many years. Tennor's hand, unmarked by self-interest.
That's true.
Stands in contrast to all others.
That's right. Like your daddy.
What is this shadow?
Standing in the corner.
Name it if it casts such a gloom.
Yes,
Then I cannot accept this.
my dear husband.
I said no.
Yes. Shut it, Alicent.
I would then ask leave to take my son from court and escort him back to the family seat at Harrenhal.
Do it.
And then come back. Save me from her. See what loyalty gains you, Alicent, rather than straight on whining and bullying? God, you're such a banshee. You want to stomp your feet now? This leech.
My lord husband refused to accept.
Then he fell short of confessing my brother's transgressions.
With his eruption in the yard, your
How
brother...
jealous this little...
Do you expect the king to doom his dear daughter to exile, or even... It's a willful blindness. The king... You'd surely suffer the same affliction if it came to
I
it.
would not.
You would. You would.
It is now that I most rue the absence of my own father. He wouldn't hesitate to speak the truth to the king if Otto Hightail was
Oh,
still at
shut
hand.
up. Your dad was... Anyway, this is so frustrating.
In all of King's Landing is there no one to take my side?
No, because we all can see through you. I will, your grace. These second sons, man, I'm telling you. The little fingers of this place. All jerks. Scarab?
I am prepared to offer you mercy.
Oh my God, this guy's an actual psychopath. No! Why? Okay, wow, okay, man. What's wrong?
I've reached the limit of my art. The child will not come.
Do not cut her open.
I couldn't lay open the womb. Try to remove the infant by way of the blade.
Why? No, I like Laena. No. Like, something told me Laena wasn't making it out of this episode.
They are Dracarys. Ah!
Oh no, she said she doesn't want
Dracarys!
No.
Dracarys!
This is absolutely heartbreaking, but also badass at the same time. But I don't think she's flame resistant the way that Daenerys was. She's more of a badass than any of y'all will ever be. Damn. She said I am not going out like that.
I will be a stranger when we meet again.
Okay, can you make this goodbye faster? Dark times, you know? Suspicious eyes, constantly looking. Let's go! I mean, super sad. Also, I'm thinking the boys must be starting to hear things too, so... it puts the kids in such a precarious position.
Is Harlan strong, my father?
Mm-hmm. He knows.
Am I a bastard?
Yes. That's all on Mummy. Sorry.
You're a Targaryen.
That part's true. Half. Should have thought that through there, sweetie. I'm so sad about Laena. I liked her. Ugh. Anyways, I guess we're making way for Rhaenyra and Daemon to get together.
We're finished here. We're leaving. I made a spectacle. They whisper about me in the corridor as well. I leave them to it.
Let's head to the sea.
Bring him. We'll need every sword we can muster.
Aw. Still looking out for you, bro. I think it's best, mostly for the kids, because I know that Rhaenyra didn't really think far enough ahead to know how this was going to affect them. That little second son of a... He's going to do something to his brother, isn't he? He's like Littlefinger, but worse. Yep, see? Probably going to kill his own father, too, so he can be Lord of Harrenhal. That place is just cursed, hey? It's nice knowing you, sir. You were a really good hand, actually. You are a cruel son of a... You're literally going to burn your own brother to death. Damn. This is Game of Thrones. Here we go. The games are afoot. It's a good thing he's getting her babies out of there, because if that's what he's willing to do to his brother and his father, imagine what he would do if he thinks these kids are in the way. What you want there, rat?
For them, you surrender what you should not.
Look how many people you killed.
Love is a downfall.
I'm so sorry, babies. Your mama was a badass, though.
Blood mixed into the mortar.
This is the man
It is
that
said
you're...
to be
Okay.
a cursed place.
You just wait till you cross him in the wrong way, queen.
What servant of the realm would not strive to fulfill it?
No, don't shake your head, Alicent. This is who you played with. This is who you played with.
I did not wish for this.
Didn't you? Maybe a little.
You will reward me when the time is right.
You're gonna have to now. Or he'll kill you in your sleep, and probably your children, too. You deserve this. Didn't I say karma was gonna come get you? Woo, child. What an episode. So much happened, but at the same time, it was super, super, super sad. Wow. I don't even know what to say. I feel like, damn, where to begin? Okay, let's start with, since it was about the princess and the queen, let's talk about the princess with Rhaenyra. So we did a massive time jump, 10 years, it looks like, and Rhaenyra looks like she just picked up right in lockstep right after, you know, Sir Cole decided he wasn't going to be part of her game anymore. She instead took the eldest son of the hand. We did see that he was kind of eyeing her up a couple episodes ago. And apparently she's like he was her personal guard now that, you know, Cole decided to move on to the queen. And I mean, it was careless. Let's just call it what it was. Rhaenyra allowing herself to get pregnant, not 1, but 3 times by this man was silly. Like, I know that she probably just thought like, let me put out some kids so people get off my back about putting in, you know, making my own heirs. But sis, 3? 3? And I really thought that she knew that her and Laenor had to at least pop out 1 baby. And like I said in the beginning, I'm like, if that baby don't have some melanin or some curls, we're in trouble, right? Now, of course, if we were getting literal, we know that genetics dictate that, you know, with Laenor being half white, I mean, their children very well could end up all being more on the fair side, but all 3, you know, and of course they didn't bring it up in the show because I think they're trying really hard not to make this like an actual race or ethnicity sort of thing. But I think the reason they did this is much like in Game of Thrones season 1, where we had Jon Arryn, looking for Robert's children who all apparently had the strong features of Robert, mainly being his brown hair and his brown eyes, whereas the Lannisters were all golden hair with light eyes. Here, I think they were trying to make sure we could visually see that Laenor is someone who clearly has some melanin. And then if we look, I think they also made sure to show us Laena's children with a Targaryen, and they all had the hair, but more importantly, they had the melanin, right? Those kids, we knew that those kids definitely had some black in them somewhere. So that's really, I think they wanted to make sure that they could show it to us as an audience without actually having to say the words that these babies, like not one. And that's why, you heard Alicent think she was slick saying, oh, 3 times, maybe the next one will look a little bit more like you, Laenor. Like I can tell not one of these babies resemble you even a little bit, right? Especially and the thing is, we know from the Game of Thrones series, as well as this one here, that the Targaryen genes be strong, right? Like those kids, if nothing else, typically get the hair, almost always get the hair. So it's like the fact that 3 of her children were born and all of them have dark hair, it made no sense whatsoever, especially considering again that Alicent, all 3 of her kids have the white Targaryen hair. So yeah, it was very careless of Rhaenyra. And I mean, I feel like it's also a bit of a rebellion on her part. We know she didn't want to get married. This was very much a compromise, but this was kind of like her way, I think, of being like, screw the system. I'm going to do what I want. And she clearly loved her babies regardless. And we see there that, oh gosh, I keep forgetting his first name, but we see that the father really clearly cared for the boys as well. He loved them to death. And this was the best arrangement that he could live with, not necessarily being able to be their father, but still being around to father them to some extent. And then we saw, unfortunately, that Laenor is struggling. I feel like he's never quite pulled himself out of the depression of watching the man that he loved gets bludgeoned to death right in front of him. And, he's still been living his life the way he wants. But like I said, I don't know why the 2 of them never thought that they should at least try to make one baby. Maybe they did. For all I know, maybe they did and it just didn't work out. But that was reckless. And unfortunately, Rhaenyra only being 17-ish when this whole marriage occurred, I don't think she had the foresight to think of what it would do to her kids, potentially, if rumors got out or if word got out. And I mean, I think, again, they're taking a little bit of how, like, in, ancient times, not ancient, actually, maybe around even 100 years ago, because DNA tests really didn't become a thing until the early 90s, somewhere in there. Like, I mean, as far as being accessible. But anyhow, back in the day, people really didn't question the parentage of a child very often, right? Like, if you said this was your kid, unless that kid looked wildly different from you, no one really questioned whether or not that child was yours. Even if you had a kid that looked very different from mom or dad, everyone just assumed that that was the child. And so I think that Rhaenyra was kind of thinking that no one would question just because they were born of her, right? That was enough to believe that it was her child with Laenor. But yeah, as we can see, unfortunately, none of them had even a remote countenance to their father. And like, I think it's turned out to be a blessing that Daemon took Laena and went across the narrow sea, because if they had seen Laena's kids with the Targaryen and saw that they picked up the melanin part, yeah, my girl would have been done a lot sooner than this. Let's put it like that. So yeah, unfortunately, Rhaenyra really did not think this through. And I think it's hitting her now because Alicent has not been letting up, between her feeling upset about being lied to and also the fear that her father put in her. And as I said a couple of episodes ago, the fact that she was raised by Otto Hightower, she's been working in overdrive to try to get Rhaenyra taken off the throne and Aegon put up in his place. At first, I thought it was sheer fear of Aegon and her kid's life, and I think it's still there, but I also just think there's a part of her that's jealous. I think she doesn't like the fact that she was condemned to being married to this old man and popping out his babies, where Rhaenyra is essentially getting to do whatever she wants and get away with it. And it is kind of true. There is definitely some privilege happening here, but it's just so cruel. And again, I don't think Alicent is thinking about what this means for Rhaenyra or her children, right? Like, it's like, so, you know what I mean? I don't know. Like, it's not an easy situation. Like, I know where Alicent's coming from, and I don't think she wants it to get to the point of anyone being truly hurt, but she's also just coming from this place of so much anger and jealousy and fear that she's just making really rash and really mean decisions. Because just like that creepy little worm of a kid said, like, do you really expect the king to condemn his own daughter to exile and his grandchildren? Like, have you met Viserys? He's not going to do that when he's clearly shown that he's got a lot of love for Rhaenyra, and she's literally the last link that he has to the love of his life, who is his former wife who passed away. But yeah, things are definitely escalating. Like, this is definitely more of a Game of Thrones that we recognize. Like, the game has begun. Alicent is in here playing it in the best way I guess she knows how, by just really trying to get into Viserys' ear about his daughter. But she's realizing that that's not going to work because Viserys loves his daughter intensely. And honestly, I like also that the wormy second son, I can't think of his name right now, so I'm just going to call him the Worm. He kept saying, like, if it was you and this was your daughter, I think you'd be the same. And she was like, no, I wouldn't do that. I would never. And it's like, you're lying, Alicent. Look what you're doing right now to try to protect your children. You're willing to condemn someone you thought was your friend at one point, your stepdaughter, the child of the man you claim to care for. You're willing to condemn her to all kinds of evil because you're mad, right? Like, but I mean, you're doing this though because you think you're protecting your children. So you really think that if the tables were turned and it was your daughter who's weirdly obsessed with centipedes was the one who is facing all this, that you wouldn't do everything in your power to protect her? Hypocrite. Yeah, I think you are. But anyhow, back to Rhaenyra. Yeah, I think she understood very much throughout this episode that there's only so much power that she wields as a princess. Yes, she's the heir to the throne, but that throne is still not hers, and it will not be hers until her father passes. And even then, if she has no respect of the people, if they all believe that she has broken her vows and that her children are all illegitimate, which they are and is true, but digressing, if they believe that, they're not going to respect her as a ruler, and they're going to want to overthrow her as soon as, you know, she takes the throne. And of course, I think more importantly, it's the danger it poses to her children. And, you know, you see that she tried to make the arrangement of marrying the two children together to try to like offset it. Poor Rhaenyra, that was kind of her last Hail Mary to try to fix things. And of course, Viserys is down for it. But I think Alicent, like she said, she's not going to, I mean, it's not really Alicent's decision. Let's be real. It actually is Viserys's choice. But Viserys is such a softie that I know he wouldn't want to go directly against Alicent on something like this. He'd want her to at least somewhat agree. I really love how this whole episode, you know, from her coming bleeding from the birth of her child, weak and shaking and just, you know, barely able to stand, to her having to drag herself through all of this, trying to protect herself, trying to protect her sons, realizing that Laenor is just not about this life. And that, so it's sad that she's realizing, okay, like if I got to order my own husband to stand by my side and my dad is fighting, but you know, he's losing this battle. And then it's like, I think the final, the straw, one could say, that broke her back as far as deciding she had to get out of King's Landing was when her own son had obviously heard the rumors and was like, is that my dad? That guy who's leaving right now? Is that my dad? Am I a bastard? Is that what's happening right now? When she realized that her kids were going to start to feel the brunt of this, and that as these rumors gained more momentum, it was going to mean mistreatment. I mean, she didn't even see what happened in the courtyard with her brothers, you know, basically beating up on her sons. And then once the rumors started to get stronger, please, how long before Aegon was going to start throwing that in his cousin's faces? We'll talk about Daemon because, well, actually, let's talk about the Queen, the other part of this episode. Alicent, there's not much more to add on. I kind of already touched on her when talking about Rhaenyra, but we see that she's, like I said, she's been buzzing around like a chicken head trying to get Rhaenyra decried as the heir to the throne. She's basically gone to wanting to slander her, which isn't really slander because it's true, but you get my point. She wants to ruin Rhaenyra's reputation so that her father has no choice but to take her off as heir. And again, I feel like she thinks she has to go this route because she can't convince Viserys to name Aegon otherwise, because her father tried that and it got him fired. So she's gone to these means, and I feel like in order for you to do something like this, the sad reality is you have to turn into a pretty ugly person. Do I actually think this is Alicent? Not completely. I do think there's a part of her that still very much loves Rhaenyra and still thinks of her as a friend, but these are her kids now, and most of us, we've got to choose between our good friend and our child. We're going to choose the welfare of our child, and that is the real fear for her. She really thinks that Rhaenyra would kill her children, and that's the part that blows my mind, because I don't think Rhaenyra has ever given an indication that she would do something like that. As I said, she does seem to think, she believes that what her father said, I should say, that it's going to end up in death for her kids if she doesn't do this. So that's what she's been doing. And we saw that she's been in league with that wormy little man. And I don't think she realized just how twisted he was and how desperate he is for power. I was trying to figure out last episode why he was even befriending her, why he was coming to her like this. I thought maybe he was sent by her father, but now I realize he has his own ambitions. He is much like Littlefinger. He's a second son who realized he wasn't going to inherit much, with his physical issues. He was already looked down upon in society. He wasn't going to inherit Harrenhal. And in his mind, he thinks kind of what she's going through, seeing Rhaenyra get away with murder, so to speak, is the same thing that he's watching his brother do what he's not supposed to do, but still get away with it and eventually end up being, the Lord of Harrenhal. Anyways, either way, I think the position of Hand is about to be open. And I think he's hoping that Alicent's going to, as a thank you for what he did, recommend that he become the new Hand to the king, since he was the son of the old king. And like he said, I will be favorable to what you want. I'll be the one to convince Viserys to do what you want if you put me in that position. So yeah, Alicent's look of horror at the end when she realized she was dealing with an actual crazy person. Like I said, karma. Moving on to the kids, I'm going to touch on them very quickly. We finally see, Aegon is now a teenager. I'm not sure how old he's supposed to be, maybe about 15-ish, somewhere in there. And we see Aemon. Aemon is not being treated very well. He's being teased by his cousins and by his brother, for that matter. It seems like he's just a bit of a soft soul, and his brother is just the way I pretty much expect him to be. Looks like he's just been a bit of a cavalier, kind of a, I don't know, I won't say he's a jerk, but he definitely seems like he's a very entitled little kid, which is what I kind of expected from him. And Aemon seems like he's just struggling with being a second son. Apparently, out of all of the kids that are in King's Landing, he's the only one that doesn't have a dragon. That's an interesting situation. I feel like the reason we spent some time with Aemon in this episode is for our benefit, to learn something about him. I feel like when we do another time jump, something about his feeling slighted, with a combination of him feeling like, we see he's obsessed with dragons, despite the fact that he doesn't have one. So I feel like those things are going to come into play at a later time. But for now, we just kind of saw that he is definitely not having a great time. Now going across the sea to Daemon. We saw Daemon. Daemon has married Laena, which I think we all knew was going to happen after the last episode. They definitely showed that the two of them were flirting. And it seems like they had a very interesting relationship. Like, Daemon hated his first wife, to put it mildly, but he didn't make that choice. He was arranged in that marriage and he didn't want to be married to her. And it looked like the feeling was mutual. But this time around, I believe it was definitely a mutual match for both of them. Very interestingly, they've been in Pentos, it sounds like, for basically the last 10 years. And it was a situation where Laena thought it was a temporary, like, we're going to stay here for a bit while things cool off. Because as we know, the last time Daemon was in King's Landing, I'm pretty sure his brother told him to go away again because of what he tried in the ballroom. But he's been out there, and Laena's like, look, we've been out here for 10 years. Like, I miss home. I miss my family. My kids are Targaryens, but they're not being raised as Targaryens. Like, the people here at Pentos don't even see us as actual locals. Like, they know that we don't belong here. And even though we saw there was a proposal of making them permanent, like, lords and ladies in this part of the world so that they could use the dragons to take care of the Triarchy. Yep, they're back. Daemon was entertaining it, but more, I think, because Daemon is still trying to find his own against his brother. But again, I think he was just looking for another excuse to avoid going back to Westeros and dealing with the fact that he is still fighting with his brother. And I really liked Laena's. I'm so mad Laena's character's gone, you guys. I feel like she has so much potential and I'm sad about it. But anyways, she seemed like she really understood Daemon and like loved and respected him for the mess that he is. No, she really did. Like, she had a gentle way about her that wasn't weak, which I appreciate. And let's just go home and fix this. And I'm just like, damn, Laena, like, you are the woman. Like, you really do get this, man. And I mean, I know he knew she was right, but again, Daemon's got a bit of a, what he's like. He can't just take advice. He's got to let it be his own decision. Otherwise, you don't want to hear it. But anyways, so sad that she died as tragically as she did. I'm just glad we didn't have to go through another C-section. Let's put it that way. I was like, God, please, no, not another horrific C-section. It was both a tragic and sad but beautiful moment where she just said, I'm not going out the way that you're saying. I'm going out my way. There was only a small chance that the child was going to survive. She just decided, I'm going to go out. I'm going to go out like a Targaryen, like a dragon. And that scene, the way they did it with her telling the dragon repeatedly to burn her, and the dragon kind of looking at her like, sis, are you sure? Like, do you know what you're asking me to do? Like, don't make me do this. And especially when earlier she said that she had to earn her bond with that dragon because it wasn't one that was born to her. It's just all the more heartbreaking that it happened. But in the end, I think, you know, they said that the dragons and their riders have like this unique bond. And I think the dragon realized that she was in pain and that she was probably not going to make it anyway. So he granted her wish and she went out in a ball of flame. I was kind of hoping she'd be like Daenerys and be flame proof, but I guess not. But I'm super sad. I liked her character so much, so much. I'm so sad she left, but I knew that they were going to have to figure out a way to make way for Rhaenyra and Daemon to get back together. Now Rhaenyra no longer has her boy toy. He no longer has a wife. And even though she's still married, we already saw that there's another battle brewing in Dorne. And I have no doubt that Laenor is going to end up fighting that battle. So my guess is that is how he's going to exit the picture. And that's how we're going to see the joining of Rhaenyra and Daemon at some point. But yeah, super sad. And obviously I think now that she's gone, Daemon no longer, I think, will have the desire to stay in Pentos. So I think he's going to pack up his girls and head back. It might be a good thing for them to have some extended family now that their mom is gone. That's pretty much it, I think, for this episode, outside of Viserys still just fumbling on through. I really feel for that guy. Like, that actor does such a good job of making Viserys both annoying but also pitiable. And, you know, his time is definitely fading and he's having a hard time. But I am, like I said in the last episode, I'm thankful that he's sticking to his guns about protecting his daughter, even if he feels like it might be the wrong decision, even if it means he's got to lie to himself about what she's doing. I got to respect a man that loves his daughter down like that. Quite the episode, you guys. So much happened there. So much they really do make each episode like a small movie. They really give us so much information, and it just also makes you curious as to what could possibly come next. I'm looking forward to the next episode, and I very much enjoyed this one. I hope you guys did too, and if you did, I'd appreciate it if you gave this video a thumbs up. Let me know below how you're feeling about this situation. Do you miss Laena as much as I'm going to? Let me know in the comments. All right, thanks so much for watching, guys, and we will see you in the next video.